Welcome to the Parenting with Grace and Grit podcast, where every week we discuss behavior and the top 3 strategies we, as behavior analysts, suggest to work on it.
Today, we're going to be talking about play in the mornings. Is your child ready to play first thing in the morning? Then getting them to do anything else is a battle. We've been there, specifically me. So we're going to talk about how to address play in the mornings, but also when your child just acts silly when you're trying to get them ready.
The first thing we suggest is just to switch the order of things so that your child is going to get ready first and then we'll get to play. Keep in mind, this is probably also going to be a fight at first because you're changing their routine and you're taking back the control of the situation. And obviously we know kids like to have their control and they do not like it when their routines are changed in any way. But if you can hold strong to that expectation of first we will get ready and then you will get to play until it's time to leave, then you're going to be much better off. There's a couple of things you can do to help prepare them for this change, though. So first, you can tell them clearly the night before what the new expectation will be. It can be as simple as, tomorrow we're going to get dressed and eat breakfast, and then you can play. They might protest, but again, hold on strong. We also want to practice this on a really low stakes day. So a day where you don't necessarily need to be like up and out of the house as fast as possible. So maybe on Friday night, you tell them, tomorrow we're going to get ready for the day, and then you can play, and then Saturday morning, follow through on that demand. What will make this easier is having everything ready to go and in an area that they can't have access to toys as well. So if there's a bathroom where you can kind of sit in front of the door, you have their clothes in there all ready to go before you even wake them up and tell them time to get ready. And then you can make sure they don't escape and start playing with something, and then it just becomes a game of chase and you're not able to follow through as well. And make sure you're telling them that they're doing a great job and reinforce them and praise them. And you're not going to have to do this every day. It's just while they've adjusted to this new schedule. It sounds really simple, but it really has changed things in my mornings so that I'm not having to 5 minutes before time to go battle my son to get his clothes on and brush his teeth. And then we need to leave and we're late.
Which is me every single day.
We're in the trenches with you guys.
Strategy 2 is visuals. Something hugely helpful is visuals, whether it's written schedules, picture schedules, or first then boards. These will all show your child that they will get to play after they get ready and complete their morning tasks. So I wanted to break this down a little bit further. So depending on the age of your child, kind of depends on which visual might be most beneficial for you. So for an older kid that can read, obviously you could do a written schedule. And then for younger kids, you can use picture schedules, or if it's something in particular where they just need to see what's happening immediately and then what's going to happen right after that, a first then board can be a great first step. And then you could fade to using a picture schedule to help you with those mornings. And we've talked some about this on our Instagram on how to use visual schedules. And I just want to reiterate that you can really make it customized to what you are struggling with in the morning, whether that is outfits or if it's specifically the play or if it's with brushing their teeth, whatever specific pain point you're kind of having in the morning, you can create these to specifically help you with those struggles. So if it's, play, probably a first then board is going to be most beneficial at first. And then you could move to kind of like a visual schedule with pictures of your morning routine and have play at the end. So whatever it is, making it fun and exciting, showing them their new schedule and tell them what exciting activity they'll get to do once they're ready, and keeping it in sight and checking off things as you go. If you need some help, we do have some printouts on our website. I think we also have custom products. So if you just wanted us to make the visual for you, if that kind of seems overwhelming on top of everything else you have going on, we'd be happy to do that for you. So you can head over to our website, graceandgritbcs.com. And I know we for sure have some free resources on there, but we would be happy to make something for you too if you have a specific area that you might need help with in the morning.
Okay, awesome. Our last strategy is just giving a minimal response. So let's say your child doesn't get into play activities, but does just act so silly when you try to get them ready. Maybe they're trying to be chased and they're putting their pants on their head or acting like an animal. Maybe they're just throwing their clothes. I mean, there's loads of things kids will do to get a reaction out of you and be silly. And honestly, that's probably all they're looking for, is to get a reaction out of you. So if you comment on it, whether it's stop doing that or laughing, you're probably encouraging it. So give as little attention as possible. This means you're going to avoid giving that direct eye contact, avoid making comments, and definitely avoid the chase game, unless it's a safety concern, of course. If you do have the time, wait. If you don't, then you'll probably just need to guide them in the right direction a little bit and tell them, first get dressed, then we can be silly, and hold on to that directive. Once they do what they're supposed to, then you can be silly together, you can thank them for following directions, and you can move on. But as much as possible, when they're in that silly mood and you're trying to wrangle them and put their clothes on or get them to brush their teeth, comment as little as possible, only telling them what they should be doing. Don't laugh, don't tell them to stop, and don't give them too much eye contact, because that's exactly what they want, and it's only going to make them continue.
My daughter is truly what Lauren is commenting on. She acts so silly in the morning, and I love it. And honestly, I needed this reminder because I do laugh at, because it's so funny. And I think recently I had texted Lauren that, it's really hard to hold your ground when she puts toothbrushes in her mouth and acts like a walrus. So I will be taking this advice and reapplying it to our morning routine, and I can give you guys an update. But I do want to say too, with giving the minimal response, I think we talk about this a lot with parents, but then as a parent, it's actually so hard to implement because you just talk so much to your kid and you don't even realize it. When we say do not give them attention, we mean you are not talking to them. So you are really don't talk to them when you're doing this. And that doesn't mean you have to be mean. You're not being mean by not talking to them, because you're going to be silly with them in just a few minutes. It's just getting through this direction that you've given them so that you can, follow through and get it done, and then you can be silly. But the whole purpose is literally to not talk to them and to not give them that attention. Because if you do, no matter what you're saying, whether that's you're just repeating, we're getting dressed right now, you're still giving them attention when you're talking to them. And we are just trying to give a minimal response as possible. Because let's say that you do say, we're getting dressed right now, and then you've kind of opened a can of worms for your child to start talking to you and be like, oh, okay, she said this one thing. Let's see what I can do now to get her to say more things to me. I'm not saying that your child's manipulative or anything like that. This is just how kids are.
And we don't want to discourage the silliness and them being fun, but it's funny to a certain extent, and then you're late, and then it's frustration. So if you could just kind of get them rolling, then you don't have to worry about this, and then there's more time for play and silly.
Absolutely. All right, now it's time for our Grace and Grit segment, where we give advice to situations pertaining to the topic from listeners. It's always anonymous, and if you want to write in, you can email us at graceandgritbcs@gmail.com. Hey, Grace and Grit, mornings are so chaotic and my kids won't focus and do what they need to at all. I just end up exploding, and it starts our day off on the wrong foot every day. I end up feeling terrible, but I don't know what else to do, but they won't listen until I'm already so fed up and yelling. This is so common with families that we have worked with. So you try to ask nicely, but you end up yelling because your kids aren't doing what they're told, and it doesn't feel good for anyone. So we would suggest using a visual schedule with them at first, having everything written out, offering some playtime or something special after doing so. You won't have to offer their reward forever. I think this is very key to talk about as a family. When we're trying to change behavior, we have to use rewards or, make it different for your child, or else nothing's going to change. So making sure that everyone understands we're on the same page, we're offering something, and using those visual schedules to help. And then you can always fade out those extra rewards, or begin to fade them out to where they are just waking up and doing their routine. But for now, as they need that additional help to get through it. So You also may have to start this process earlier in the beginning so you can help them through it. So maybe that means everyone has to wake up a little bit earlier. And we also would suggest giving as little attention as possible. Anything you would add to that, Lauren?
So we're going to start in the morning by showing them their schedule and telling them exactly what they need to do. So you can show them the picture or whatever is written. So first we're going to brush your teeth, we're going to go potty, we're going to change your clothes, and then eat breakfast, and then play. And as you're walking them through it and doing it with them, make sure you're telling them they're doing a great job. We want them to know exactly what they're doing right. And then once everything is done, then you can have a few minutes, whether that's just something they get to go play by themselves while you finish up getting ready or something you guys get to do together. Just make it something really special so that they know that this is a really great thing that I did this morning. And then I have all this time to do whatever I want to do before we have to go. And then you can also use timers for that last bit of activity so that they know how much time they have left before you do have to leave the house. Because if you are saying, okay, now you get to play, and they actually only have like 5 minutes, they might get a little upset if you just all of a sudden say, time to go. So tell them, you did such a great job. You get 5 minutes to play. Here's a timer. And then once that time is up, go ahead and direct them out the door.
Mm-hmm. I want to add too that I know that these strategies that we're going over are proactive. They're not reactive strategies. So specifically, like for this example, we always want to do these things ahead of time to avoid you feeling fed up or yelling, and doing these things proactively should really improve that. However, what you could do as well is you can set contingencies on their morning schedules and kind of like their behavior in the morning. So I'm not specifically sure if it's just they won't focus in the morning or if they maybe are having some tantrums or whatever it may be, but you can get them used to doing that schedule first. And then you could put in some contingencies. Like if we do all of these things with a great attitude, or however you want to word it, then you get your playtime. And if you don't, we just might not earn playtime in the morning before school. And that can be another way to go about it.
Yeah, I think that's a great part to mention because there probably will still be some meltdowns or whatever it is in the mornings at first, at least until they're adjusted. So keep the attention minimal and put a contingency on it. If they don't earn it, they don't earn it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. As always, if you have any questions or need some more specific help pertaining to mornings, you can feel free to email us at graceandgretbcs@gmail.com. And we're so thankful for you being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. If you need help or have additional questions, you can email us at graceandgretbcs@gmail.com. We also have free resources and products on our website. Visit us at graceandgretbcs.com. Thanks so much for listening to Parenting with Grace and Grit.